Let me give you a reality check real quick. The only way you are going to go anywhere in life, the only way you're going to develop and grow as a person, as a self, as an I, as a man especially, is if you allow yourself to experience all the negative shit that you keep avoiding out of fear or stress or, you know, you're too caught up with hedonic pursuits, right? You just want to live in a virtual reality, play video games, smoke weed, and jack off all day. Like, life has a lot more than this to offer you. And it also comes with suffering baked into as part of the equation, right? You can't escape it. It presupposes the good. The good presupposes the bad, and vice versa, right? You can't have one without the other, such as the whole entire concept of yin and yang and so on. And we wouldn't appreciate the good so much if it weren't for the bad. Now, I won't get into the theological debate about, omnibenevolence and so on with Jesus and all that in this specific video. But irrespective of that, there's a lot more in life that you can access simply by not only allowing yourself to go through shit that tests you, put yourself in these situations, right? And the reason for that is because the more that you do, the more you're going to grow. And I think that if you're not growing, you're stagnating necessarily by definition. Like, you have to be doing one or the other. Otherwise, you're going backwards. And that's obviously the worst of all scenarios. So why the hell would you want to pursue that? And you can fall backwards actually by stagnating without doing anything about it. You can fall backwards into that reverse cycle just by stagnating and allowing yourself to sit there. And what does that do? Even hedonism, when you're constantly pursuing just pleasure, right? It inevitably leads to depression. It leads to negative, psychological shit. It leads to nothing good. And it seems counterintuitive, but if you put yourself in a position to go through negative shit, you'll end up having to go through less negative shit. And you'll become more well adapted to deal with whatever comes your way in life altogether moving forward. And I have this idea that I've gathered through research, reading, study, so on, of many different sources. Things but are not ever supposed to get easier. They're supposed to get harder, actually. Shit's supposed to get more, increasingly more difficult as you progress through life. Because if they're not, then that means you're stagnating. If your challenges that you're being presented with aren't getting increasingly more difficult, that means you're not that means you're not progressing to the next level. If you're a video gamer, right? If you're one of those hedonic pursuit types, what happens when you play a video game? The bosses consistently get more and more challenging, right? You're not increasing the level. You're not going into the settings and changing it from easy to normal to difficult to legendary, or swapping it back and forth, although maybe some of you do, especially if you play Starfield. Let's not get into that. But you get the point. Shit's never supposed to get easier. It's supposed to get more and more challenging. But what doing this type of thing intentionally does is it equips you better to deal with those challenges as you progress to the next level. So to relate it to video games again, it's like if you beat the first boss, right, you put yourself in a position to have to defeat that first boss, which is a challenging feat. It's a dragon, so to speak, as Jordan Peterson would say. After you beat that first boss, you increase in level, right? It gives you points, and you experience points, and you increase your level. That's symbolic for, transforming you as your character as a man or as a person, as a self, into a better version of yourself. What would happen if you played a video game and you stayed on level 1 the entire time and you never fought any bosses? And you just decided, maybe you're playing the new Skyrim anniversary edition with the fishing option on it, right? Let's say you first leave the cave after the entire initial attack on Helgen, and then you decide that you're just gonna go fishing for the entire game, never fight anybody, be completely passive, and stay on level 1. The first damn wolf you run into on the side of the road, walking from Whiterun to wherever the hell you want to go next, you're gonna die. It's gonna freaking kill you. And then you're gonna have to restart. And you better hope it didn't autosave in that spot, because then you're fucked and you're gonna have to restart the game. I won't keep rambling on about the video game analogy, but you get the point. Like, put yourself through difficult, challenging situations, and then come to me after couple months of doing that consistently and tell me your entire life is not transformed. Like, your entire life will transform very, very quickly. This is the whole idea behind cold plunges, right? Behind taking cold showers and stuff like that. Obviously, there's biological, it increases your dopamine. But also it increases your dopamine to do challenging things and successfully perform feats over these things. You know what I mean? So everything is all connected. It's just a matter of what are you going to decide to do with the time that you have in your life, with the effort that you have, with the life force that you have. Because I'm telling you, I'm only 26 years old, but I have terminal cancer. I was supposed to die by 2020, and I wasn't supposed to have kids. I've got both now, but my health is like that of a 50-year-old man's, and I'm slowly deteriorating, right? I'm still alive, but I'm deteriorating. As I get older, that's only going to get worse. If you're healthy or you don't have a terminal sickness like this, just imagine you have so much more time left. But what are you going to do with it when you get old, when you lose like most of your life force and you've squandered your entire life thus far? And by the time that time rolls around, it's like if you've wasted all that time up to that point, what the fuck is your life going to amount to? This is something that hits home with me, and I speak so passionately about this right now because it does hit home for me. Why? Because I was just like that. I was one of these people. And this is why I can sit in this position right now and tell you about it. And tell you exactly what's going to come out of both ends of that. I promise. I promise. Put yourself through challenging shit. Accept it. It's the whole principle of stoicism. If you just accept the things that you can't control and try to make the best of the things that you can, your life will be so much more peaceful. And you will be equipped to deal with whatever the hell suffering you have to go through to bear your cross, so to speak, as you go through life. So there's some food for thought. It's an invitation to think introspectively, and I think a lot more of us in today's culture, especially in the Western societies, we need more introspective thinking. We need more conscientiousness. We need more of this type of discussion, of dialogue going around. Definitely. So, anyways, I hope this got through to at least one of you guys, and I hope that at least one of you are inspired by this, or maybe it lit a fire under your ass to get up and fucking do something with your life, bro. Because I promise, dude, you think that playing it safe, playing it easy, especially if you're not necessarily in any position that would encourage you to act, right? If you don't have anything that's lingering over you that embeds some sort of urgency within you, then it's easy